Making too many excuses draws accountability away from us. Once we start to fall into that habit way too much of making too many excuses, you start to become the person that just makes excuses all the time. If you are a person who constantly is making excuses, you're not going to be able to become the person that you want to become. And one of the reasons why this is because excuses make you forget how capable you are as a human being. If you are sitting there and you're constantly making excuses about why you can't do this or why you can't do that, well, I'm too busy to do this, and you're not even trying, then you're never going to be able to get to the stage where you want to get to. The reason why this is because you start to become the person who is not capable of doing the things that you are attempting to reach. Think of yourself for an example, right? Have you ever had a time where you didn't make any excuses and you got out there and you got the work done? And then after the fact, oh shoot, I really can do this. If you haven't, I would encourage setting aside a week of making zero excuses. Any excuses that you make, you gotta knock it down and you gotta tell yourself that you can do it. Try dedicating a week to eliminating those excuses and putting that work in. I guarantee you're gonna have such higher results than you ever had in your time of excuses. You feel me? Excuses start to come in when you consistently allow that limiting voice inside your head to work through your body. And what I mean by this is we all have two voices in our head. We got a voice that is keeping us on track and a voice that's holding us back. You listen to that voice that is limiting you way too much. It starts to show to not only yourself, but everybody around you, because you are continuously making excuses over and over again. And you're so deep into the point where you don't even realize it. And it's very important that you cut it out as soon as you possibly can, because at a certain point, if you just continue to do this over and over again for years and years and years on end, then you might not even want to change. You might just become that person. You might become that limiting person in your head, that limiting voice in your head. And another thing is, you keep telling yourself that tomorrow is going to be a better day for you to do it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, and you didn't end up doing it tomorrow? How many times have you told yourself tomorrow and you ended up not doing it ever? There's no better time than right now to start what you got to do. You have to make time for what you want to be, what you want to do. You have to make time for it. I know, for example, because I have a busy schedule myself. I'm in the middle of moving. I'm working a full-time job that is starting to get extremely busy right now. But I'm finding any time that I can to make these videos. You feel me? You got to be able to put yourself out there, see what you can do, see what you can move around. Because if you really want it, then you'll get it. Because I promise you, there's other people around you that want it and will actually put that work in. If you can't push us into the shoes of a person who is going to get that work done, then you might never be able to get that work done. You might never be able to get what you got to get done. You feel me? What you want to be. You might not ever be able to be that person that you want to be. And at the end of the day, it's your choice. Like, you could tell yourself tomorrow as much as you possibly want, but you don't know if tomorrow's going to come. You don't know what may happen tomorrow. You feel me? And especially if you have the ability to control things around you, make some time for what you are working towards. And then finally, if you start to admit the truth and, oh shoot, I really can do this. I have control over my life. I can do what I want to do. You still might not do it because that means you got to change your life. Honestly, when it comes to humans, fear of change is really an instinctual thing for humans, because we understand that change gets us out of comfort. Thousands of years ago, when we were living in the woods and stuff, you feel me? If we were to change things up, right? If we changed up our routine, if we changed up how we did things, then that could potentially mean danger for us. And that's part of the reason why you're so afraid to change things up. Because you might have even started doing the things that you wanted to do, but all of a sudden you start to get that feeling in your gut where it's like, oh shoot, I feel really uncomfortable doing this. Or it's like, dang, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore because it makes me feel this way. I just want to go back to doing this. I want to go back to doing what I was doing in my old life. You are not the only person. That comes with every single person on this earth, because it's instinctual. As human beings, we are afraid of change because our brains want us to stay in comfort. And you have to learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And how this happens is you just got to put yourself out there. You got to make it happen. You got to start putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that are going to grow you. Because after you have that growth, you are able to see results and see, oh, shoot. So me being uncomfortable is making me more comfortable. It's more of a waiting game. You feel me? It's more of a thing where you got to have a little more patience. And I will tell you, patience is one of the most important things in this world. That's why the Bible teaches about it so much. Patience is such a strong tool that once you learn to use it, you could become pretty much unstoppable. You can really do anything you want, because then you understand that if I'm uncomfortable for this amount of time, if I can stick it out, be uncomfortable, and reach for my goals, when you have that patience, you're able to look ahead and see, this is what I want, and I'm gonna be able to get to there because I have patience and I'm willing to stay uncomfortable so I can bring myself into more comfort. And honestly, once you start to get into the habit of making yourself uncomfortable for the sake of future comfort, you start to get obsessed with it. You get obsessed with it to the point where it's like, now I don't even want to stop being uncomfortable. Now I want to constantly be uncomfortable so I can be comfortable. That's why when you look at people that are comfortable versus uncomfortable, that's why when you look at people that are okay with being comfortable and versus people that are not okay with being comfortable, that's why there's such a big gap in between these people. Because this person took a small amount of time to be uncomfortable, and they started to see the results of it, and they were able to have that patience. And now they're obsessed with it. They keep going because now it's not as hard for them. Now it's kind of a thing where it's routine. Once that becomes a routine, again, humans are habitual creatures. So if we continue to do something over and over again, that becomes easy for us. It becomes way easier for us. That's why when you get up, you brush your teeth every morning, and it's just like that. Because you've been doing it for years. You've been doing it for your entire life. It's just so easy to you because it's a habit.